move beyond a profit-centered world to create a culture where business and people truly thrive. Picture yourself at the end of a long workday, driven by data, figures, pressure, and goals. The city around you never stops. It's always demanding more. Everything needs to be faster and with fewer resources. But how often do you find yourself wondering, is this all there is? During COVID, do you remember the isolation, the empty streets, and how this new situation forced us to ask ourselves what truly matters? It was a terrible virus, but even beyond that, we still are surrounded by other silent viruses that might even be worse. The greed of having more and more. The pursuit of profit and self-indulgence at any cost. Don't you notice some elements in our culture that seem polluted, unhealthy, and strained? Aren't there too many symptoms of self-destruction? Zygmunt Bauman speaks of a liquid society, one rotting with individualism, selfish pleasure, and fierce consumption. In this setting, we find mechanistic, short-sighted, and dehumanizing companies, where employees rarely have the time or energy to build strong families. This is why we see more family breakdowns and more people feeling lonely and struggling, don't we? In Spain, for instance, 1 in 5 people feels deeply lonely, and for over half, this feeling has lasted more than 2 years. Who's to blame for all this polluted culture? In my opinion, there is one who is to blame for this, and his name is Homo Economicus. Homo Economicus is the assumption that individuals in an economy act rationally out of self-interest. It is the assumption that if everybody thinks about themselves, there will be greater wealth and more prosperity for everybody. This model of individual is the foundation of our modern economy. The part about aspiring to more prosperity for everyone is fantastic. But what puzzles me about this assumption is that Mr. Homo Economicus is telling me that I act out of self-interest. He's telling me, if you are a human in the economy, then you are selfish. By definition, acting out of self-interest means me first. So somebody who follows the Homo Economicus model will think, do I want to be happier? Yes, then I need to earn more money. Do I want to live a more fulfilled life? Then I need to have more. Do I want to be a better person? Then I should be more selfish. Me, me, me. More, more, more. Now, now, now. As we have seen before, polluted culture is the cause of a disengaged society, mechanistic companies, weak families, and lonely people. But is this really so? Isn't it just the other way around? I suggest that it's the decision of individuals based on the Homo Economicus model that contaminate them, weaken families, generate mechanistic companies, and disengage society, and then a polluted culture comes. Homo Economicus might have infected most of us. Do you think that with egocentric individuals who only think about me, myself, and I, is it possible to build lasting and trusting relationships? And without trust, do you think that there would be market, new births, future? So, the truth is, Homo Economicus is a myth. Life, real life, has too many exceptions. to fit this model, hasn't it? When we have all witnessed moments of solidarity, altruism, and love, those are things that keep the world turning, right? I'm sure you've seen recent images of what's happened in Valencia. The Homo Economicus doesn't show up there, does he? In 2018, Kate Raworth warned us, it's time to abandon Homo Economicus, that simplistic, isolated, selfish creature who only chases after personal gain. But can we really abandon Mr. Homo Economicus? How? As early as 1968, Professor Juan Antonio Pérez López, who was later the dean of IESE Business School, my mentor and friend, in his 40-page cum laude doctoral dissertation called Organization Theory, a Cybernetical Approach at Harvard Business School, proposed a motivational model of the people that goes beyond Homo Economicus. What motivates you to be here today? What motivates you to get up every morning? The answer seems obvious. We need to make a living. Yeah, this is the first motive we call extrinsic. Other examples of this extrinsic motive are the desire for recognition or the need to stand out, things that come from outside of us, from the environment. I'm sure some of you are thinking, okay, yes, and I go to work also because I feel useful, because I like my job, because I learn a lot. Of course, yes. Work itself can also be a source of challenges, satisfaction, and personal growth. These motifs are different, are called intrinsic motifs. They are the second type of motives, why people act or move. The task itself motivates them. But let's go further. The volunteers in Valencia, who traveled miles every day to clean up debris and mud after a flood, they were not there for money or recognition, were they? This is the evidence that something deeper was driving them. This third type of motif is the one that drives us to act for the good of others, and these are what we call transcendent motifs. Because everything we do transcends our own self and impacts and has also repercussions on others' lives. Haven't there been times when you have been moved and motivated above and beyond in your work? I'm sure you have. All the whys of human action can be based on any or several of these three types of motifs, with greater or lesser weight. What do you think is the impact of the different motifs on employees? If you know that your boss just wants you to perform, will you trust your boss? Or if you know that your boss wants to manipulate you, will you trust them? But if you know that your boss really wants the best for you, then you will run the extra mile, won't you? So the most important type of motif is the transcendent one, because it builds trusting relationships. Let's see an example. Imagine an ice cream company. What could motivate its employees to come to work every day? Let's imagine a customer comes in and says, you know, your ice cream is not that good. Actually, the other ice cream makers offers much better quality than you. How will that affect the team's motivation? You can pay them a great salary. They can keep on developing new skills on how to make ice cream. But if they realize that they are not having a positive impact on their customers, that will be the most demotivating experience for them. Can you imagine why? This is a transcendent motif. So let's see how we can enter into a positive circle of trust and competitiveness through motifs. First, if salespeople focus on transcendent motives, they will seek to make customers happy. Customers will come back and buy more ice cream so they can earn more money, which is the basis of extrinsic motivation. Second, the team keeps learning to produce better ice cream, which is the basis of intrinsic one. And third, they have discovered the meaning of their work, to satisfy in the best way the needs of real and potential customers, which is the basis of transcendent motivation. Now, here's an important question for you. We talk about Homo Economicus as if he were someone out there, but isn't he also inside us? In our daily choices and reactions, perhaps we are not only victims of that polluted culture, but also contributors to it. If in our daily decisions we overemphasize extrinsic motives, we will not see people, but stepping stones to our self-centered goals. The same is true if we get too carried away by intrinsic motives. In the first case, we will treat others like cogs in a machine. In the second, like little animals that need some sugar cubes from time to time to manipulate them more effectively. In both cases, we are instrumentalizing others. Like a thief who believes that everyone is like himself, we will assume that we must manipulate others to get what we want from them, perhaps with a softer or more psychological touch, but using them. This is the core of the Homo Economicus model. If, on the other hand, we focus on transcendent motives, we will see whole people with strengths and weaknesses, potential, feelings, dignity, and human needs. So, what can we do in order to have clean lenses, to see reality as it is? We need to make rational decisions by transcendent motives. Otherwise, we will be putting false diopters in our lenses. More and more. The more we decide, the less we will see. It's urgent to heal our world, to oxygenate it, and I propose to move from Homo Economicus, who brings CO2 to all the spheres of life, to Homo liber curans, a free person who transcends the egocentric vision by taking others into account, bringing oxygen to all the spheres of life. To overcome the polluted culture rooted in the theory of Homo Economicus, which is driven solely by extrinsic and intrinsic motives, we need people who make decisions and act with strong sense of transcendent motives. Homo liber curans does not use others, but chooses to take care of them. Therefore, Homo liber curans is able to build a strong family, to contribute to develop a productive company and a sustainable society. And all this will enhance a caring culture. So in this way, we can change our culture and move from ruthless consumerism to responsible consumption, from pleasure-seeking and selfishness to self-mastery and understanding, from individualism to solidarity and compassion, and from techno-stress to a conscious use of technology. Let us imagine a world in which we truly see each other not as means to an end, but as unique and irrepeatable individuals. A world in which companies strive not just to make profit, but also to help people thrive. A world in which we live not just as competitors, but also as a community. In fact, there is scientific evidence that solidarity and altruism, what we call transcendent motives, have been present in our DNA of people since the time of the prehistoric people who were taking care of elder and children. So when you leave this room today, take a simple question with you. How can I show someone today that I care? A small gesture? A genuine conversation? That's all it takes to awaken the Homo liber curans in you and in those around you. In this way, we will push forward a more humane economy that doesn't just measure numbers, but touches lives. Are you in? Let's go.